Okay, so I think we are live as we look at our time delay here on all the devices. So it should be picking up. Okay, there we are on screen, and now people should see us about now. There we are. We're there. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stephen and Walter Live, another edition for another day, first day of May. Happy May Day, everybody. And I'm hoping
it's miserable and rainy out here. It's 12 degrees Celsius, which is about 54 degrees Fahrenheit.
Whereas in Mississippi, according to Patsy, it's 84 degrees and humid. Yeah, already, she says.
It's humid here too, but it's not the kind of humid you like.
No, it's very moist, very moist. So let's see, who is here? Thank you, Suzanne. She can hear and see us both. That's good to know because it doesn't work any other way. Hi, Donna. Hi, Janice. Hi, Jan. Hi, Judy. Hi, Pat from Muskoka. And Laura's here. Hello, Laura. Hi, Judy.
Also from Muskoka.
Also, do you guys know each other? Patsy's here. Hello, Patsy. And Country Gal is here. And Shirley is here from Alberta. And Suzanne. And Glenna. And Jan says, hi, Shirley. Enjoyed your interview the other day. Yes, if you have not seen our Shirley, that's Aroundtoit on here.
Hi, Fidel.
Oh, Fidel's here. Hello, Fidel. We missed you last week. And, or were you just late? Very late. Give you a hard time. I haven't seen Jeannie and Andy on here yet. And Andy wasn't on the art journaling group's meeting today either. I'm getting worried about. Okay. I know. I'm a little worried about Andy these days. Eddie's here. Hi, Eddie. So we're just going through roll call with everybody, and welcome. Don't forget to hit that like button. Hi, Marchan. Hi, Future Cat. Laura says it's raining and 9 degrees C here in Guelph, but the dampness feels like -9. Yeah. Yeah, we're not into summer weather like yet here in this.
I mean, yesterday it was nice. It was 15, but and sunny.
I don't know what the rest of the forecast is for the week, but
it's supposed to rain pretty much all week. So.
Oh, how nice. Well, April showers bring May flowers. Wait, it's May.
Wow.
Like that. But I was saying Aroundtoit is our friend Shirley, and I interviewed Shirley, and it was up this week. And I did forget, but Shirley reminded me, it's there now. I forgot to put in the link to her YouTube channel, but you need to check that out if you haven't already, so please do. And Tuesday of this week coming up, I will be putting up another interview, and it happens to be Shirley's daughter, Shala Frank, who is a crafter. She's not a quilter. She is a crafter, and she makes some really beautiful things, and lately she's been into junk journaling. And if you don't know what that is, well, check out Shala's channel. It's called, Shirley, I can never remember exactly the wording of it. Crafting something through the chaos of life. But maybe, Shirley, you could just put that up in the chat and people will be able to find it. I will have it in the show notes for the interview when I put it up. I'll try not to forget this time like I did with Shirley. But she's got some very, very nice things that she makes, very creative. Makes me want to become a paper crafter again. And after today's little semi-disaster I'm still working on and trying to rejuvenate, I'll talk about that when it comes to my turn to talk about what I'm working on. Fidel says it's 29 degrees C and very, 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 very sunny here. Oh, shut up, Fidel. And have a love. Hi from Ontario. Well, we're in Ontario too. Have a love. What part of Ontario are you from? I may have asked you this last week, but I have a short memory. So, and I make no apologies for short memory.
Crafting through the chaos of life.
That's it. Crafting through the chaos of life. I mean, there's a title you should not forget, but I do. Well, if it's got more than 2 words in the title, I have a hard time remembering it, it seems. So anyways, this week's a busy week for Walter. Not because he's made anything. Have you made anything this week? Did you finish my shirt?
I haven't. Still have to have those things.
No.
Been busy getting stuff together for this class. I'm taking a class from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then a separate class on next Saturday. And this is like bring your own pattern, and the instructor will help you fit it properly and guide you through it.
So, did you mention? I tuned out as soon as you started speaking. Did you mention what it is you were making?
I'm going to try and make a bomber jacket. Like it's one that's got
Real bombs?
no, it's a one that has nylon outer shell, and it's got insulation and everything else and lining and everything. So it's a little bit complicated.
So it's not a leather bomber jacket.
No, it's not.
Oh. And do you get to learn how to make bombs to go with it as accessories?
Yeah, probably.
Or will this jacket just be the bomb?
I don't know.
Whatever. I thought bomber jackets went out of style. Why do they call them bomber jackets?
They're short.
Yeah, so lots of jackets are short.
I don't know. Maybe because bombers wore them. I don't know.
Again, why are you not making bombs to go with it? I don't know.
I like the short bomber style. You have a bomber style jacket.
Where?
You've got one like the winter coat that's kind of fake suede on the outside. That's a bomber jacket style.
No, I call it a winter coat. But whatever. Okay. There you go. Maybe you should learn how to make winter coats.
Well, a bomber jacket is a short jacket.
Fine. But back to my original thing
I have one that I sort of made that it's a winter coat that I haven't worn yet.
Oh, you didn't make me one.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can make
it's hard
you
enough
one.
to get a shirt out of you. It seems these days finished. Oh, yeah. Have a love. Wasaga Beach. You did tell us that. That's true. March Ann says it's 86 Fahrenheit here in Florida, and we're expecting rain. Well, cry me a river. Pardon me if I'm not being really sympathetic about the heat. Okay, we'd like that. Country Girl says it's not summer weather here in Wisconsin either. I've enjoyed Shirley's YouTube channel. That's great. Nice endorsement. Thank you.
One good thing about the temperature being here is it's mosquito free.
At the moment, yeah. But of course, we move in another month into black fly season. Of course, we don't usually have a lot of black flies right where we live.
No.
Which is actually...
Muskoka might have some.
Yeah, Muskoka will have them. But it's amazing, though, because we live back onto a forest. And
yeah, we never seem to have
never seen those. But we do have the mosquitoes.
We've had horse flies or deer flies or whatever.
I'm a little concerned about the bats. They're probably waking up.
You're worrying about that.
I don't know. They creep me out flying around the house. You know, like, I don't want them in the house.
We'll just make sure we don't let them in the house.
Yeah, but they're sneaky. And then they giggle.
Well, we have a friend over sometimes on Thursday that likes to go smoke out there, so.
The bats don't like that. They'll be getting him. Like, yeah, whatever. Janice says, what's the name of Shirley's YouTube channel? It's Aroundtoit. And it's right there in the, right next to her comment section up there. If you see the green A, it says Aroundtoit. That's it right there, Janice. Ernest is here. Hi, Ernest. It's one of my favorite temperatures here in Albany. Yeah,
69.
69. Well, one of Walter's favorite numbers too, but let's not go there. Okay, so what am I working on? Well, I've been doing a lot of things. So if you finish talking, I want to show people who this Ron Collins is. Now, we talked on So Chatty this week.
Yeah, Ron Collins is the guy that's teaching the class, so...
Let me put his picture up here on the screen. That's us in the screen. Okay. Well, I had him up here before, and there he is. Okay. This is who we're talking about, Ron Collins. Kind of cute, if you like that kind of thing. And I do. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah, picture in picture. There we are. Okay, so that is Ron Collins, and Ron Collins comes from where out west?
Saskatoon.
Oh, did you already say that?
Yes.
Yeah, you started to speak. I tuned
No,
out.
not now. I haven't said that now. I just said it now.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay.
Then I didn't miss anything.
And he's sort of a sewing guru for Canada, and he is a representative of Genome, and he goes around and teaches classes all around North America, but especially Canada. And he has a line of men's clothing patterns for Vogue as well. So
Yeah, in fact, I have a picture of a couple of his patterns. This is one. Is that a bomber jacket?
No,
That's
that's a blazer.
Wow, he likes them slim.
Yeah, well, he's kind of slim himself, so.
Like, holy crap. If that guy turns sideways, you won't see him.
Yeah, well, that's Ron Collins too. He's skinny as hell too.
Does he have patterns for men like us, classic fits?
Well, I'm
as we like to
sure
call it?
the bomber jacket will have to be a classic fit, that's for sure.
I think so. And there's another one of his Vogue patterns. But he said something about he doesn't do patterns for Vogue anymore, does he?
I don't think he has any new patterns out for Vogue. These are all existing patterns. I don't know if he has published any new patterns at all. Yeah, I guess what happens with these designers is a company like Vogue buys the pattern for a set price, and they get no royalties or anything like that from getting the pattern. So
No.
they just get it, and he has it designed. They pay a certain amount of money for the pattern, and that's it. And they basically have the rights to it forever. So
No. Well, now this is a very conservative looking shirt for him because he makes his own shirts, and his own shirts are quite like he uses a variety of different colored fabrics in them and stuff too.
Yeah, I know, but this is an example shirt. It's a Western shirt that he's got. There's other types of shirts patterns that he has, pants patterns, and like this bomber jacket that I plan to do is his pattern as well.
I kind of like that shirt. You could make that for me, but a couple of alterations. One, button-down collar, and I would prefer no flaps on the pockets. And, change the buttons and...
Well, what's the point?
Exactly, you just got the point. What do I have here? Okay, this is coming up next, but not yet.
It's your crappy quote.
Shut up. Did I ask you to speak? No, I did not. Okay, just a second here. I want to see what people are saying. I'm trying to get things down so I can see the comments list here. Okay, so hi Jeannie. Jeannie made it. Laura says, yes, bombers wore them as they were short-waisted that wouldn't bunch up while lying down in the bomb bay of the planes. They were also thick to protect against the cold. Okay, so that's where it comes from. I did not know that. I had a suspicion that it had something to do with bombers and airplanes, but I didn't know that. So that's very interesting. Thanks, Laura, for that. Marlene. Hi, Marlene. Late. New computer wouldn't let me sign in. Hi to all from Alberta. We'll be slashing Alberta in a minute, so stay tuned for that. Do you remember the MFB animated film Black Fly? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Ernest says classic, Canadian for over 60. Well, I can't wear classic style then.
It's a full figured thing.
Full figure, yeah. I'm still just. Well, no, I'm not. I'm in the middle of the 60s. Oh well, whatever. Patsy says in ladies wear it's called full figure patterns. Yeah, I suppose so. Although I kind of like what you put the first time, Patsy. Fill figure, fill in the gaps. Marchand, do a different kind of shirt.
Hi, Jeannie.
Anne says, hi, Anne. Don't freak out about bats. They eat gazillions of mosquitoes. Yeah, like your chats. Oh, like, okay. Yeah, I know that. And I don't want to harm them or anything like that. But they seem to like our underneath our deck. I think it's the same family. I don't know, how long do bats live if you don't flush them down the toilet? Not if they get in our house and they get flushed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's like we back out onto a forest area, and our deck seems to be a good haven for them to hang out in. So,
well, there's good eating in the backyard because we do have a lot of mosquitoes. So there's no two ways about that.
In the middle of the summer, mosquitoes and all kinds of other bugs.
But I mean, I can't get cozy with a bat. You you had them get on your shoulder there. Did he whisper sweet nothings in your ear?
No. He was clinging for life, I think.
I think so, yeah. Your life. But whatever. But, that's a cute little graphic with the bats on it in the chat. But, I don't want them in my house. Well, they don't want to be here either, but there's nothing worse than you wake up.
No, we haven't had, like last year we had them in the house.
Yeah,
but
3.
Yeah, so but usually if we're careful we don't get any. So
You know, every time I hear a rustle in the night, I look. Is there something flying by? I'm a little paranoid about things. I'm paranoid about a lot of things anymore. Anyways, this is what COVID did to me. Makes me paranoid of people, bats, people on motorcycles and that drive big trucks in Ottawa. What would come to that? So, anyways, so you've got that. So you're leaving me for basically the week. Well, you're coming home.
Yeah.
After. Ooh, party time. And actually, it is going to be party time, people, and I will tell you about that in a few minutes. But let's talk about what I have been doing. And what have I been doing? Well, I've been trying to learn the Quilt Path. That's the software, for Lucy on that. And I'm having, well, not too bad a results, mixed. I'll just show you here what I'm talking about. Okay, so last week I showed you a couple of my quilts that I had done on the Quilt Path, the Doves of Hope, which turned out pretty nice, except it's now on our bed because it is pretty much a queen size, and we swapped out the quilt that I've had there forever on it. And just before we started this broadcast, Walter spotted where one of my seams has opened up, about a 2-inch seam on the damn thing. And now I got to try and mend it. And I am so bad at hand sewing. I'm going to try it with a circular needle this time. I think it'll be easier to get in there under it and over. But anyways, I mean, on that quilt, I had a couple of seams opened up on me when they were on the long arm, when we took it over to Tracy's to do it with the Quilt Path. And that was kind of a pain in the butt. And that's not the fault of the machine, it's the fault of me. And apparently now, another reason why I would never quilt somebody's quilt for them, because I've heard Tracy and other people who do long arm quilting for people say the same thing. In the middle of doing a quilt, a seam opens, and then you're kind of screwed. You either have to fix it when it's right on the long arm, or mark it somehow, and then when you take it off the long arm, fix it later. And fixing those, when you're somebody like me who doesn't really know how to hand sew, is very difficult for it. But, well, I will fix it one way or another. It's probably good practice. But anyway, speaking of practice, here is this quilt. Now, this quilt I made, I don't know how long it's been sitting in my UFO pile. Possibly just before COVID hit or into COVID. I was one of those days when I thought, I really don't feel like having to concentrate on a pattern, but I feel like sewing. So I'll just grab a handful of scraps and I'll throw together some what I call wonky blocks. What that means is I just sew these things together. I grab some orphan blocks. You'll even see if you look here close, there's a little bit of crazy patch quilting going on with these embroidered or decorative stitched seams. It was something that was in my pile of orphan blocks, probably an experiment, and I never throw anything out, so I decided it was time to get this on the machine and quilt it, and so I did. But what I wanted to try this time was not an edge-to-edge design like I did on the other two. I wanted to see if I could do some customizable quilting, which means each block I have a different pattern in it. I don't know how well you can see that here, but I was just going through all the different patterns in Quilt Path and putting them in, and that was working out pretty good. I learned how to do the placement and everything for that. However, in the sashing, these straight pieces between blocks and the long pieces, well, I learned something that's very, very important. And I know anybody who does long arm quilting will say to me, "You idiot, you should have known that already." Two things have to be straight when you're doing this kind of stuff in order to get your pattern in there straight. It has to be, your quilt has to be on the long arm straight. Now, I'm bad at this. I was taught this when I first learned how to use a long arm, that you put your quilt on the long arm, you get it all layered up, and then before you baste it, you sort of go across with your needle to check your spacing. And if you need to pull your quilt up a little bit or pull it down a little bit, you do that then, and then you can baste along the top. Well, what I kind of do is, yeah, it's close enough. And guess what? That's not a good idea to do it that way. In fact, it's a very bad idea, as I found out. The other thing was, these blocks were thrown together, and I didn't care which way they went into the quilt. So the sashing is not even. If you look up here, you notice this piece of sashing is off from this piece of sashing, but this long piece here, they were sort of going downhill. And combining that with the fact that I didn't put the top on straight created a problem when I was trying to get these designs in along these long horizontal pieces. So I see if I can show you. I don't know if it's going to show up here. I'm going to pull back a little bit. That one maybe doesn't show it. This one, if you notice this, see the pattern? It's along here, and then it kind of goes down here, and then it goes over here, and then it comes down here, and it gets a little bit narrower and a little bit narrower as we go over. Oops, wrong page. Okay, back. Hit the wrong button. And as I get towards the end, it's kind of running into the top of that. I tried a lot of tricks. I learned some things trying this. I don't really care, because this is a junk quilt. That's what I'm calling it anyways. This is not a very big quilt. It's only a small lap. And it's the kind of quilt that I'm thinking in the summer, if we're sitting out underneath our deck on a summer evening or something, and it gets a little cool, but, you know, you just want to throw something around over your shoulders and that, you could do that with this. And if, you know, we're eating or we're having something to drink and it gets something on it, no big deal. I mean, I can just throw it in the washing machine. It's completely utilitarian. That's the word I want. I knew there was a word in there some way. So I have learned quite a bit. So my next project is, I have one more UFO. It is one that basically has, well, I call it cock block because there is a big paper piece rooster in the middle of it. And that one has a lot of space for doing customization quilting, and I think I can get those things to fit in a little better because of the design of it. So that's going to be my next project with this. So I'm learning new things all the time with this. It's definitely got a learning curve, but you know something? It's fun. It is fun. So what are people saying here? Let's catch up on the chat for a moment.
Yeah, mosquitoes are the last one.
Oh, okay.
An issue with Bunset's front door. Got a dusk to dawn light.
And fix the issue.
That's
They don't like the lights. Oh.
Actually, maybe I should put we have a light right under the deck. I can just set it up so that it just on all night. So
yeah, actually, that's a really good idea. Thanks, Judy. I didn't really think about the fact that they're not really fond of light. But yeah. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Colleen. I love that quilt. Just lovely. Okay, Colleen. Thank you for the words of encouragement. Ernest says, do you iron seams open? I do, but it used a much shorter stitch length. Well, okay, Ernest. I know all about that, ironing your seams open. I do in certain cases. Most times I don't. Mainly because it takes more time, but it will make a flatter quilt, and that's a good thing when you put it on a long arm. I do it when it comes to border pieces. If I've had to attach, pieces of fabric together to make my border pieces long enough, I will always press those open. I always press my binding strips open as well. But most of the time I press them over to one side. But maybe I should start pressing them open as well. But use a shorter, you need to use a shorter stitch length on that too, or they will come apart. Teresa says, for the open seam, take a piece of fusible interfacing, slide it under the opening, glue side up, cover with a pressing cloth to protect your iron, and fuse the thing into oblivion. Hmm. That's an idea too. Yeah. Hmm. The only thing though is you've got those raw edges are peeking out.
Well, you fold the raw edges
Well, I
in a
guess you
little
could
bit.
put, yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Thanks, Teresa, for the idea. Pat says, Steve, do you press your seams to one side or open? Yeah, I was just talking about that. Less chance of seams opening if you press to the side. Okay, so there's the two arguments there about that. And as I said, I usually press them to the side. Only in certain cases do I press them over. Thanks, Laura. This is Judy. Anne says to Judy, yes, they only fly at night, but with lights you eliminate fireflies and beneficial moths. You're eliminating the fireflies and beneficial moths. Oh, they eat those too, do they? Okay. Can you do each block and then free motion the sashing? Yeah, you could. If I was any good at that. Actually, I could do ruler foot quilting as well. Here you go. As an aside here. Info, your mobile service made a mistake and overbilled your upcoming statement. We are now sending you a return of 47.54 Canadian. Yeah, no, you're not. No, that's one of the latest scams on there. There's a lot of those. Anne says there's no junk quilt. No, true. Eddie, there's your problem. If everything has to be straight, you need to let someone else quilt for you. Okay, Eddie. Yeah. I'm gonna put you in timeout. No. Ernest says, I asked because you had a seam come apart. Just wondered if it was an open seam. No, it wasn't. It was just a stupid seam. When I made that quilt, there was a lot of little pieces in it. And I made that quilt over 2 years ago when I was still relatively new to quilting. And I probably wasn't as careful making sure that when I was putting things underneath my presser foot, that I didn't have one of the fabrics slide out a little bit from it. And if it got close enough to the seam, then the seam starts to fray, or the edge of the fabric starts to fray, and then it lets go of your seam. Then you put it in under the tension of a long arm, and that just pulls it apart on there. So I am much more cautious about that kind of thing now than I was then. But as I said, this is a quilt that's been sitting around for well over 2 years, waiting for the right moment to quilt it. The right moment was when I got the quilt path for it. But yeah, oh well, we shall live. These are all things that make it interesting to quilt, right? So I've been working on that and learning quilt path, as I said, and lots more to learn. It's a very powerful program. So yeah, with no instructions, basically. So, and I've been working on something. I have to show you this. This is just something today. What?
What? Well, you show. Oh, okay, no, you're not showing.
Oh,
I
I forgot. I'll show that. Okay, I'll go to that in a minute. But these are on my 3D printer, and look at them. They're called Taco Bell bags. They're hollow, but aren't they fun? Now, these were test ones. I did them at 25% of the size. Now I'm doing full size ones, and I'm thinking these would make great like pen holders, or I can make pin cushions out of them.
They're out of plastic, so
yeah, they're out of plastic. You could even actually use them as a little planter, like the bigger ones. I could plant philodendrons in them because I'm all about philodendrons. But what Walter was referring to is the little disaster I'm working on right now. Eddie and some of you others, do not laugh too hard. Okay. If you're a quilter, you know Jordan Fabrics on YouTube. Donna Jordan always does tutorials about a pattern, and some of the patterns are her own as well. And I love Donna Jordan because her tutorials and everything are so very clearly done and whatnot. Well, she has this pattern for making an easy Bargello. Now, those of you who've been around here for a while know that I have this thing about Bargellos. I really like them, but they hate me. And the last Bargello I made, I named Semi Bargello because for some reason I got something screwed up. And so half the quilt is a real Bargello. The other half is just an interesting pattern. The overall effect is kind of interesting, but it's not really what it was supposed to be. Well, then she shows this with this fabric from Northcott, which I really love. Walter bought some to make shirts out of, but it's all very gradiated. Kind of reminds you of sort of a seascape kind of a thing. And of course, it's in my color scheme in blues and dark blues and stuff like that. There's some browns in it as well. So we went up to Kawartha Quilting yesterday to pick up some more AccuQuilt stuff. And when we walked in right by the front door, they had this whole line of fabric sitting right there. And so we both like drooled. And Walter immediately had them cut him 3 meters. And then I had 2 meters of it cut because I want to make this Bargello by Donna Jordan. Right? And it's so easy. It's not done in the conventional way. If you know how to make a Bargello, you make a tube of strips and you cut them and unseam them in certain parts and do all that. It does get a little complicated, but the end result's really quite nice. Okay, so I thought, this will be great. I love it. It's a wall hanging size, supposedly. And yeah, I'm still working on it. Okay, you probably...
Actually, it looks better in the TV.
Yeah, than it does in real life. It's kind of wonky. Well, it does have to be squared up, and still a few more strips that have to go on it. As you can see here, it has to be squared up.
It has a definite curve.
But there's a definite curve to it. So I'm going to have to kind of steam the shit out of it and try to block it after I get it squared up and finished. And yeah, I should have known when I first got started on this, there was going to be some problems because I decided to use my AccuQuilt to cut the strips, which was fine if you put the fabric on the right way, because you're supposed to go with the fabric for each strip. And I cut the damn suckers on the first batch I cut in half. And then I didn't have enough of this fabric after that mistake to recut that. So I had to piece some stuff together, and that's also contributing to the curvature in this.
And not only that, he's sewing all his seams in the same direction, where you're not alternating them.
Yeah, I should be alternating back and forth. So, yeah, okay, whatever. See, here's a picture of what it's supposed to look like when you get it done. Yeah, I'm having a little problem. I'll make it work. As they say, it will quilt out. From it. Eddie says, turn it upside down. It looks like a cityscape. Upside down. Oh, Eddie. Oh, Eddie, you are so right. Actually, I think I like it better that way than this way.
No, actually, both ways look okay.
Of course, mind you, unless you marked onto it, this is the top of the quilt, nobody would know either. But huh. That's an interesting perspective, though, Eddie. I hadn't thought that.
You got to alternate it, or you're going to end up with a full Bargello rug.
Yeah, exactly, Ernest. You know, I know something too, Ernest, and this is why I call myself the Idiot Quilter. I knew that. And in fact, when I got to the 3rd strip, I decided to alternate it and do that. And that went right out the window. I didn't do it the rest of the way. I'm going to steam the shit out of it. So, but, yes, Shirley, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Yeah, if anything, Anne, it's pretty. Yeah. No, she didn't. But you want to know something else, too? I don't know what it was. I never really have any problem with Donna's patterns. But this one, I couldn't. It seemed so straightforward, but mine wasn't coming out, so I did my own thing on the measurements. Like, I used her measurements and everything, but she talked about drawing this line across, placing it all in where each one, you know, you're sort of, what do you call it? Alternating downwards. There's a name for that. Can't think of it. Anyways, and then you draw this, you mark on either side of each strip, and that way you match up those. So it didn't work. And I don't know what I did wrong. But she had the measurements in for how far down each piece should go, and what part you cut off the bottom and put it on the top. So I'm doing it that way. But anyways. Yeah, Judy, her video did look so easy. It's not as easy as it looks. So, or at least for me. maybe for anybody else, it probably is. High sauces. Um,
Yeah, the fabric I think had just come out,
yeah.
so it may take a while to get to the UK. So, and like our own quilt store here didn't seem to have it last time we looked in there, and we happened to go to Quilter Quilting, and all of they said they had just gotten the fabric in. So
Yeah, Teresa says, well, jealous, couldn't find the fabric in the UK, but found similar in the UK. But I'm going to make Donna Jordan's. Her says, my own thing equals curved, upside down, cityscape, artistic choice. Yes, exactly. It's a customization. That's what I tell people. Yeah. A man on a galloping horse going 30 miles an hour will never, or 3 miles an hour will never notice it. Now, I'm not done with it yet. It's now a challenge. I will steam the shit out of it to block it, so we'll see. But anyways, you know, maybe I need a little break from quilting. Maybe I need to clean out the cobwebs or whatever. Don't say a word. Just screw up. Hey, people, I'm not seeing likes. I want to see likes. I'm all about likes these days. So where's that taking us now? Okay, so I mentioned the AccuQuilt dies. So I now have all the cubes. The rest came this week. So I've got the 12-inch, 10-inch, 9-inch, 8-inch, 6-inch, and the 4-inch cubes. Now we have to start working on the accessory packs. Plus, I bought another strip die, a 5.5-inch. Oh, and I realized today when I was cutting those strips, I thought I had a 1.5-inch strip die. I don't. It's on my list to get. Yeah, I'm loving the AccuQuilt stuff. I really
until you
am.
cut it wrong.
Yeah, well, that was not the AccuQuilt's fault. That was mine. But, yeah. So stay tuned for more videos about my adventures with AccuQuilt as well as time goes on. And Ernest says, you could do this pattern on almost any ombre graded fabric. Yeah, you can. You can. It is, you know, if you do it right.
Actually, I think Donna Jordan had that different ones that she showed in the
Yeah, she had three. She had three she
show
made.
that she had made with different fabrics.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Ernest! It just dawned on me who you are.
Yeah, I kind of already figured out who he was. He's the Ernest from the quilting group.
Yeah, I was on earlier today on men's quilting group or whatever. We had a little sew day, but there was only 3 of us there, and David and Ernest was there as well. So I don't know. I'm having a mental block. I don't know. It's only 1 beer. After 2 beers, I'm yours. So
He says, oh my God, seriously?
yeah, like, oh my God. Okay, fine. I had a busy day today, which I'm going to talk about now. The art journaling group. We had our monthly meeting today as well, our Zoom meeting. And God, those ladies always impress me. The stuff that they come up with. Jeannie, are you still on here, Jeannie? I haven't seen Andy. Andy missed this one too. It's the second one she's missed. Like, no pressure on her. If she doesn't want to be part of it, she can tell me. I won't take offense to it. But I'm just worried about Andy. I have not seen her for a while. So, Jeannie, let her know that I'm asking after her. That I'm worried about my Andy and Mitzi. I hope Mitzi's okay too. So yeah, that was a good time had by all. Sometimes it makes me wish that I went back into paper crafting, but no, I don't think so. Did that. Stephen, no AccuQuilt Zoom class yet? Do you have an AccuQuilt, Eddie, or are you just shit disturbing as you usually do? Yeah, I'm not confident enough with the AccuQuilt. Oh, I did do something. Actually, I can show you this. I bought the Drunkard's Path die because in my quilting group, the Quilter's Way that I belong to, we're going to do all about curve piecing and stuff like that. So they want to do Drunkard's Path. I don't want to cut templates for that. So I bought the die and I was experimenting just to see how this would turn out. And it works like a charm. So Really easy to do. And the best thing about the AccuQuilt when you're doing the curves is it cuts a little notch in the circle part and in the arc part, and you match those two up, pin them together, and then you just have to pin the two corners and do your curve piecing around, and it comes out pretty good. I mean, look at that. That point is perfect. Okay.
Uh-oh, you got some scam coming up. Best cams.
Okay, let's get rid of this. I need a moderator. Oh shit, this person's pumping me. I'm gonna get rid of it. Okay, people, just bear with me. This person is trying to take over. I think I've got all the messages are deleted. I don't think anybody else is going to see those coming up. Okay, we've never had one that bad with it. So, you know, these scammers are just getting my goat. They're everywhere. I said to Walter earlier today, I got a message supposedly that it was from Zoom. And I haven't seen a scam with Zoom listed. It's not from Zoom. I know it's not from Zoom the way they addressed it. But it was, they're trying to make you go into your site so they can see you sign in and get your information, right? For that. They're saying that you're 40 something if you want to not have 40 minutes regulated at the trial version or something like that. Well, that's what they used to do. When Zoom first came out, if you got the free version, you were limited to 40 minutes, and I think they got rid of that. You can still have the free version, but you have unlimited time. But I pay for Zoom because I do so much on Zoom, and so none of those barriers are mine. But you see, they want you to sign in, and they'll, of course, take all your information when you do that. So you got to watch these guys. They're getting more sophisticated in the way they're putting these things up. And then you get the phone calls about this, that, and the other thing. And then you get assholes who bombard your YouTube chat, you know, with stuff. Oh, artist says, no, Zoom's still a 40-minute limit. Okay. But anyways, just be careful about it clicking on anything. I mean, lately I've been getting these emails telling me that my Norton virus protector subscription is done, time to renew, and McAfee. I don't use either one of those. I haven't in years. With it. But anyways, back to this. You look at that center. Those points are... Oops, that's the back. Sorry. Those points are perfect. Absolutely perfect. I can do things right sometimes. Okay? Thanks, Dak. Cool. But whatever. There's an Interact and a Norton one going around as well. Yeah, I've had the Norton one. I haven't had the Interact one yet. But, oh, yeah, actually, I did that one I just told you about that came up on my watch telling me that I've been overcharged. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. And My Quilt Projects. Oh, hi, My Quilt Projects. Shakes fist at car warranty calls. Yeah. Eddie says, Stephen, I asked about the Zoom class because my local quilt shop's having one. I was thinking about joining unless you are doing one. I'm not doing one, Eddie. Not yet. If ever. I will continue to do some of my little demos and things like that, but no, I'm not.
I guess the one that you got was same Country Gal says it's the same one that was hitting you. So yeah, channel.
Oh, was it?
Oh.
Oh, okay. So there's a run on those. Yeah, that's nice. Thank you, Jeannie. But anyways.
Yeah, Jeannie's happy you didn't block her by accident.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many people know the story, but you know, you can try. Well, actually, I can't block on here. It just lets you, well, remove. I guess that, but I don't know if that really blocks them or not.
Well, I know you set it up so that it won't display on your.
Oh, yeah.
Group.
So no one can see it if it comes up. But I blocked Jeannie once by accident when I was trying to get rid of somebody on a
Zoom call.
Yeah, it was a Zoom call thing. So yeah, try not to do that. So, anyways, what else are we talking about? Okay, some announcements of what's coming up. Craft and Chat, people. First Wednesday of the month, and the first Wednesday of the month is this Wednesday coming, which is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. That one's not hard to remember. Starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my time, and it's just for 3 hours or so. Runs until about 4 o'clock or whatever. Might run a little longer because I don't know what time you come home from your class.
Well, I think it goes till about 4, so.
Oh, okay, fine. I suppose I have to cook dinner.
Maybe.
Yeah, whatever. So anyways, that's this Wednesday coming up. Now, for those of you that are on the mailing list for that, I have already sent you out a notice with the link. But the link for the Zoom meeting is in the show notes today for this and for all of my videos from last week, and for the videos that I'll put up on Monday and Tuesday, it'll be there as well. But if you want to be on the mailing list, just drop me a line. I'll put you on that as well. And for anybody who's new here and doesn't know what that is, we basically are just getting together and working on whatever we want to work on. If you want to work on quilting or sewing or crafting or scrapbooking or underwear drawer realignment, whatever grabs you. And it's just a friendly, relaxed time where we can catch up on some things and chat a little bit. And yeah, no drama kind of a thing. We don't get into politics, religion, or, Russia or Ukraine, all that kind of stuff. Okay, my quilt projects, see you again. Thanks for coming. Did you like me? So that's coming up. And also, now usually I tell you I'm only going to give you 24 hours notice about a pop-up chat day. Well, I'm giving you more than 24 hours because Walter will be out on Saturday at his little workshop thingy with Ron Collins. So I'll be here all by my little lonesome. So I need company, people. So I'm having a pop-up craft and sew day on this Saturday coming, May the 7th. I will open it up. The Zoom will be open at approximately 8 o'clock in the morning, my time, Eastern Standard. You don't have to be there for 8 o'clock. You can come anytime during the day because I'm going to run it probably until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon or until I get bored. If you keep me amused, I'll run it forever. But everybody's welcome. It's like Craft and Chat. It's just longer. That's all. So the reason I'm doing it is because this will be the third one that I've had. And it's to accommodate for those people who have jobs and can't make Craft and Chat. Go figure. People work. What's that? Haven't done that in 10 years. Like, really? Well, whatever. So yeah. So join me if you want for as long as you want. And the link for that is in the show notes today. And again, I do have a mailing list for that. If you want to be on that, then please let me know. And I think I've got it in several of the videos I posted this past week. It'll definitely be in So Chatty. I think I put it in the Idiot Quilter as well. I think it's there. But anyways, that's coming up. And I'll probably make a special announcement on YouTube about it too. So if you've got the bell clicked for notifications from me, you will see that notification when it comes up as well. Country Gal says, I got my email. I'll be there. That'll be great, Country Girl. And Jan says, I'll be there Saturday. I really like these sew week gatherings. Yeah, they're fun. I have a good time. And it's all about me.
Hi, Nancy.
Nancy's here. Hi, Nancy. Janice says, I'm moving on Saturday, but I can put you on my phone. Everyone can watch the move. Oh, okay. Well, that might be something a little different, Janice. Sure, whatever. I'm open to any suggestions. I'm just that way. Okay, so that takes us to what's happening in Canada this week. Well, what's happening in Ottawa, Walter? You've been following it more.
The Rolling Thunder motorcycle convoy in Ottawa protest, and it was up in the air as to why, before this protest, as to why these people were coming to Ottawa to protest, because nobody seemed to know why.
Holes on bikes.
Yeah, poor schmucks have to work to pay your CPP and OAS. But
and I thank you for that, Laura.
I did for many years too. I did for 39 years. I worked for it.
Well, I did too. But
Not for 39 years, you didn't.
well, it's not my fault that I went out and I got 3 university degrees.
Yeah, okay. So
Took
anyway,
a little longer. Let me show me your diploma.
it's there somewhere.
From a
Anyway,
community college.
yeah, so anyway, they came to Ottawa, and it supposedly was under the guise that they were supposed to take back or
The War Memorial.
the War Memorial. I guess the War Memorial, when the original truckers hit Ottawa, they jumped all over the War Memorial and were dancing on some parts of it and stuff like that. So the Canadian government went and barricaded it off for at that point.
So when you get like,
and then they
destroyed.
tore the barricades down anyway. And so they said they desecrated the War Memorial and they were going to take it back and all this other stuff. But that's what they said they were going to do. But what had ended up happening, which is what everybody figured anyway, it's a bunch of truckers on motorcycles this time that have come back in, and they are doing the same thing they did in February, was protest the their anti-vaccine mandates, anti-masking mandates, and they don't like the Liberal government. So, and I mean, most of our masking mandates are gone in Ontario anyway, and except for if you visit a medical facility or if you take public transport or something like that. And yeah, there's still companies that have vaccine mandates. Well, that's up to a company to do that, right? Or whoever you work for. And that's not going to go away because vaccine mandates have existed for the beginning of time. I used to have to go for TB tests when I was younger and stuff like that. I mean, so I don't know why they're protesting. I mean, it's like,
but the underlying
record.
thing too is, well, first of all, someone asked them, one of the speakers said, how many of you were here for the truckers one? And like 3/4 of the crowd put up their hand.
Right.
So stupid people, they didn't learn the first time.
The other part of the problem is there's a speaker there, and the speaker has been targeted as being racist.
A white supremacist.
A white supremacist, racist, anti-Muslim, anti-Semitic or whatever. And so they are, so it's not just the mask mandate, it's their own stupid agenda.
Yeah, Teresa says anti-masking protests, but they wear a full face helmet on the road. Yeah,
I know.
I don't know why bother, because if they hit their heads, there's nothing there to damage.
No,
like really. I mean, this is to say the least.
They probably only showed up on motorcycles now because they can't afford the gas to drive there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
In their truck.
I haven't seen any reports from Ottawa yet about how the police are handling it, but I'm hoping that the police this time learned their lesson from the last one, because they handled it badly the last time. And so supposedly they learned from that and know how to handle them. And I think they barricaded the roadways in front of Parliament Hill.
The roadways in front of. They have arrested a bunch of them, and they fined a bunch, which I don't know what a fine will do, but especially if they choose not to pay it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just. I don't know what they gained. I think it boils down to they're a bunch of children that didn't get their own way in February. And they still haven't gotten their own way.
Well, the other thing, too, is I suspect, because this happened with the truckers one, it's something that did come out at one point. There are some instigators, some south of the border, who, the same ones who, stormed the Capitol and everything back, before Biden was inaugurated and the whole bit. And the reports were with the truckers one that this same bunch were up here instigating in Canada. And not only that, but we also have our own, let's just call Alberta New Texas. because, and I know there's a few of you from Alberta that are on here, and it's nothing personal against you. Your whole province sucks. Um, like the rednecks out there. I mean, I'm ashamed to be a Canadian when I see this kind of stuff, because this is not what we're about in this country.
The vast majority of people are not like that. There's this group that show up in Ottawa or that it's a small minority, but have decided to take it upon themselves that they want to change all of the way things are run.
But this is why it's stupid. Okay, in this country, we do have protection for protesting. All right? You can protest. Peaceful protest. It's Parliament Hill. It's the capital of Canada. Where else do you expect people to protest? They always protest at Capitol Hill, in the provincial legislations in each province.
Here we go. That's Cam's Fun Death Stadium.
Oh, God, here we go again. Give me a second here, people. Okay. Assholes everywhere.
Maybe they're part of the...
Who knows? Maybe they're some of the rednecks in Ottawa. But, I mean, the whole point is, in Canada, yes, you can protest. However, there's a difference between protesting, saying what you need to say, peacefully, and then leaving. These ones don't get the message. They can't change the government. It's not going to bow down to threats and unreasonable demands and anything like that. So why the heck are they doing this kind of a thing? This tells you the mentality, the level of intelligence. There isn't any. They are completely brain dead. And I hope that our government, and I hope the police in Ottawa and the whole bit, throw them into prison and throw away the key. It'll be worth a raise in our taxes to keep them in prison for a while. Okay? I figure that's money well spent for doing that kind of thing. Laura says it's always a handful of bad apples to spoil it all for the rest of us. Yes, it is. And Patsy says, same for the States. We are not all bad. Yeah, Patsy, we know that. We know that. That you aren't. But I'll be very honest about this, and not to be insulting, but we do expect this behavior in the States. Okay?
Well, you actually have a little bit more, what's that? You allow, in the U.S., you allow more, I don't know, hate groups or whatever, like white supremacists or something. You have this more freedom of speech than we have in Canada. And they seem to think that we have absolute freedom of speech in Canada.
They quote the Fifth Amendment. That's the United States Constitution. We don't have a Fifth Amendment in Canada. We have a Constitution, but we don't have, that's not how it works here in Canada. And that's how stupid these people are. In the trucker one, they were flying Confederate flags. Excuse me? We did not have a civil war between the South and the North and all that kind of stuff in our history. We had an Upper Canada Rebellion, which was very short-lived back in the 1800s. But, we did not have a Confederate flag or anything like that.
And they go on and say it's part of we have a Charter of Rights, part of our Charter of Rights. But things they're quoting in the Charter of Rights, we don't have in the Charter of Rights. So they haven't even read the Charter of Rights. So.
Yeah, duh. It's just completely stupid. And is this something that has come out of COVID that has driven people to act in this very radical way? I don't know. Victor says U.S. American leftists hate these far-right groups. They twist everything into their own fan base. America allows cults here. It's disgusting. Fascism is so bad here. Racism exists everywhere. Yeah, true, Victor.
And we have racism here too and everything else. It tends to be a little bit more underground.
Yeah.
But then these groups appear that end up the last. It's sort of there's more of a push for it all of a sudden. So.
And you know what? These extremists here in our country are awakening those that might harbor similar feelings, but they realize that in Canada it's not appropriate to like voice them on this kind of level or whatever. And now they're being empowered to do it. What are you laughing at?
Future Cat says we had the same sort of idiots quoting the Fifth Amendment at protests here in New Zealand.
Yeah, like, so look, you see, what I'm saying is, I am not saying that the United States is evil, okay, as a country. All countries have their idiots, right? And their assholes and their extremists and everything like that. No country is exempt from that kind of stuff. However, when you can see the influence of the United States on other places in the world, when you have these yahoos in Canada and in New Zealand quoting something from American politics.
And it's all something that they've seen on videos or TV shows that have been based in America that have that say call about the Fifth Amendment and their rights. Like they have the reading of the Miranda rights when they get arrested. In Canada, we don't have the Miranda rights. They don't have to give you those rights.
No, they don't.
That all they have to do is tell you why you're being arrested, and that's it.
Yeah, you have the right to shut up and fuck off.
And so, like, they're getting hauled away in custody, and they're saying, well, you haven't legally given my Miranda rights because... so you haven't legally arrested me. Well, in Canada, you don't have to be given the Miranda rights.
Yeah. Like, it's just, it is so stupid. It would be funny if it isn't for the fact that these people are doing some serious damage. You know, they quoted how much money it costs for the Ottawa police during the truck one. And it was in the millions of dollars for that kind of stuff. Well, you know, I think they ought to get the names of every one of those protesters there and send them a bill. Because it's my money. It's our money as taxpayers that are footing the bill for this kind of stupid stuff.
Let alone having to pay for CPP and OAS for us.
Yeah.
You have to pay for these idiots to protest in Ottawa.
Like, it's just, I just don't understand it. And, you know, and then on top of all this, if we broaden the things that this might represent, what is it with individuals in our society, or even organized individuals, who think they have the right to make other people's lives miserable? Like this one on here today that's bombing us with their little ads for a porn site, because that's basically what it is. Who are the scammers out there who are sending us stuff through our emails, and bombarding us with that kind of crap, trying to get our personal information so that these people have no heart. These people have no soul. They have no conscience whatsoever. What drives people to treat other people like that in our society? You know, it's mind-boggling, to say the least. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm some little goody two-shoes here and who, you know, is trying to help everybody no matter what. No, I'm not. You know, I'm selfish too, like any other human being on the face of the planet. But I would not scam somebody out of their personal information or their money. I don't get it. Are these people... Like some people try to rationalize it, is that this is the only way they can make money so they can survive. They're trapped, you know, like they have to do this kind of a thing. I don't believe that that's true. I really don't.
It's a make money quick scheme.
And obviously they are making money from it, because if they weren't making anything from it, if people were ignoring them, if they weren't getting anybody, sucking somebody in, they wouldn't be doing it. Because it wouldn't be profitable. I think our governments need to start doing something. They need to start with our providers of our internet service and the whole bit. I think we do need some form of, do I dare say it, censorship. we need some kind of system or whatever that can cut this back. I'm not sure how you do that, because they change, these hackers, these scammers. They have new ways of doing it all the time. They have ways to get around any other security things that may be already in place. I know that. But it's getting out of hand. Way out of hand. Oh, hi, Em. I think I'm late to the party. Yeah, you are, Em. Victor says, Western propaganda is the worst. The indoctrination is so deep that educated people think they're being objective. Well, I'm not sure, Victor, what you mean by Western propaganda. Indoctrination is so deep that educated people think they're being objective. You need to explain that, Victor, a little bit more, because I'm really not sure. I mean, I know what you mean by Western propaganda, but I'm not sure how this ties into, like, indoctrination. Are you talking about the media? How, you know, the media is very biased, and depending on who you watch as your news source, that will, you know, that can alter your mind or lead you down, you know, the garden path kind of thing. Fidel says they call themselves Christians, so don't get me started on that, on religion. Because, like, actually, this is something Walter doesn't know. My ring went off on my phone, meaning somebody was at the door, and I'm expecting an order from Amazon. Of course I am, because a day without a delivery from Amazon is a day without sunshine. So I went up to the door. Well, I looked at my watch, and obviously you were oblivious to that ring or figured I would get it. I was busy online doing sewing.
I didn't hear that. Right.
Conveniently so. But anyways, well, it wasn't my Amazon order. Some guy had put a little baggie on our doorstep with this little card in it. And the little card says, free book offer. Receive any of these 3 book, should be plural, but it's not, any of these 3 book by emailing cpcfreebook@gmail.com. And these are the books: Incredible Power, Grace, The Great Controversy, and in very fine print, Stories of Real People Who Found Hope, and then Take Charge of Your Health. One of these 3 doesn't belong. But guess who put this in our door? Fine print. College Park Seventh-day Adventist Church. It's the Seventh-day Adventists. Okay? You know what these books are. Now, you want to talk about propaganda. These books are full of propaganda. I just know by the title, especially the first 2. Incredible Power, Grace. There's probably the word of should be in there. When God's assurance becomes your, God, it's small print, your own. Like in The Great Controversy, it's another one. This last one, Take Charge of Your Health. Not sure how that
fits in. That Seventh-day Adventist does that very often. But...
Well, we haven't had anything from Seventh-day Adventists ever. I mean, if Jehovah Witness sort of does, although they have us blacklisted that we're Satan's children. So they skip over to the other side of the street when they walk by our house these days. That's a story for another day why. But, yeah. So these books are propaganda to get you into their belief system and the whole bit. Now, I'll make no bones about it. I have very little regard for the Seventh-day Adventists or the Jehovah Witness, mainly because of the way they treat their children. And like it is child abuse, saying that, you know, kids can't have proper medical care for things, the way they indoctrinate them with their ideology, which is very, very ignorant, to say the least. I know this from firsthand experiences because I had kids in Jehovah Witness, especially in my classes over the years, and it was incredible what these kids told me about their backgrounds and things. I couldn't believe, and that, you know, Children's Aid's not going in and taking these kids away. I mean, they're not physical abuse, it's emotional. But anyways, that's a whole topic that you can open up a real can of worms with, I know. But, you know, this kind of stuff, this is part of Western propaganda in my way. of thinking. Victor says capitalism has a big influence on politics and sociology. Of course it does. It's the almighty dollar runs everything. We know that. But what's the alternative? Russia? China? You know. What do you consider yourselves regarding your political identity? Well, I don't think we really need to get into talking about that. We are liberal. And
we're not conservative.
We are not conservative. We are liberal. We lean towards the left. Lean towards. We are probably slightly to the left of the middle ground. We are definitely not right on, to the right of that. Whatever. But are we bleeding heart liberals? Depending on how you define that, no. Not really. I like to think we are reasonably liberal. Like we kind of look at things and go, well, yeah, this is the way the world works. We don't always like everything that's happening, but at the same time, people do have the right to think what they want to think, and they can protest if it's peaceful and, isn't causing people grief, kind of a thing. Get your message out there. Like, I do not say that these people do not have a right to drop this card on my doorstep. Okay? But I have the right not to read it and to rip it up. So that's my right, right? So
it's just don't really try and force it down my throat type of thing.
Yeah, kind of thing. That's the way I feel about religion too. I mean, I used to be a Christian, okay, only because I was born into a family that was Christian. I did go to church. I was very uncomfortable going to church. If I had my druthers, I would rather not have gone to church because I found it boring. I did sing in the church choir for 25 years. I went out of habit. More than anything else. But was I a believer? No, I really wasn't. I really felt all those years that I did darken the doors of a church, of the Christian church, Presbyterian, if you must know, that I was really living a lie. And I broke away from the church eventually, and I'm not going to explain why, because that's another discussion for another day. But now I consider myself, and half jokingly, but seriously, I'm a born-again agnostic. I do believe in spirituality. I do believe that there is something greater than us as humans out there. I don't know, you can call it God, you can call it whatever you want to call, Gitchy Manitou, whatever out there. But I do believe in that, and I have nothing against people who wish to be spiritual. Just don't force it down my throat. I do have a problem with organized religion in the sense that when they start to, try to force it down other people's throats and say this is the only way that one's supposed to be. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with what people have done in the name of God. I have a problem with people thinking that they are the only chosen people on the planet from their God. I have a problem with people who think there is only one interpretation of God and everybody else is wrong and you need to be killed because of it. I have problems with that. I have a lot of problems with religion.
My parents were Christian based, but they were not practicing. They never went to church. My dad was born Catholic. My mother parents were agnostic. So I grew up in what I consider an agnostic situation, but it was somewhat Christian based. When I was a kid, I asked my mother about the Bible and stuff like that. So she ran out and bought me a book on Bible stories or whatever when I was a little kid. So, it's not...
Oh, the violent ones where they're slaying or slaying lions and...
We were...
crucifying people?
But we just never went to church. That's all.
Yeah.
And I've never had any desire to go to church. So...
Well, Victor says, I'm an atheist. I grew up Catholic, forced into a private school. Yeah, okay. Well, we know where that's coming from there, how you feel
I
about
mean,
all
when I
that.
grew up in my neighborhood, almost all the kids I hung around with were Catholic and they went to church, and I was the outsider. So, and they treated me as the outsider.
Oh, my grandmother used to always say to us when we were growing up as kids, if you ever marry a Catholic, you'll be disowned in this family. I won't leave you in my will at all. Well, here's the ironic part of it. My grandmother passed away before my brother got married, so she never met my brother's wife. But my brother married a Catholic, and he converted to Catholicism for that. And the other thing is, my grandmother never left a will. So, but that was, there were those people. My parents were never that way. Catholics were Catholics, Jewish people were Jewish people, and now Muslims are Muslims. Kind of a thing. So, big deal. Live and let live. I don't care if you're Catholic. Doesn't bother me. I don't care if you come from another religious group. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, I'm all for spirituality. Just don't force your views down my throat. Now, if you want to have a lively discussion about, what your religion is and what you believe in and stuff like that, I don't have any problem. Then I'll tell you what I believe in. And we're having a friendly conversation, sharing information. We're learning something. But don't tell me I'm wrong. I won't tell you that you're wrong. Because basically, I really don't know whether you are wrong or not. Maybe, oops. It's like an atheist. People are looking at them and paying their last respects when they're laid out in a funeral home and going, oh, look at that, all dressed up and no place to go. So, it's an old joke. Eddie says, my mother joined a Christian cult when I was a child. She forced us to join. Boy, could I tell you stories. I'm sure you could. But,
that's a great, big, huge topic.
It always is. Religion, 3 things you should never discuss. Religion, politics, and the weather. Well, we've done all 3 today. That's good for us. Where are those likes, people? Come on. More likes. Let's go. Let's go have likes. I'm all about likes. Yes. I said I'd never say this. I lied. Okay. Likes. And subscribe. And a thumbs up. Yeah. Whatever. So Victor says, I have an 8-year-old who I don't force any religion on him. I gave him a big book that teaches about generalized religion and hundreds of other religions and gods and goddesses, etc. And, I think that's a good thing.
I mean, it's good to be aware.
Yeah.
It's good to be knowledgeable about it and knowledgeable about other religions. So,
yeah. I mean, they're right when they use the expression, a little education is a dangerous thing. The emphasis is on the word a little. A lot of education is great. Because obviously, those people, bringing it back to the motorcyclists and their protests, those people obviously have little education. Because a thinking person, an intelligent person, a person who makes themselves aware of what's going on in the world and around them and explores ideas and all possibilities, don't drive a motorcycle up to Parliament Hill and scream white supremacy and anti-vax messages and stuff like that. Really? No, they don't. So, yeah. Teresa says, I grew up in a fundamentalist type church. As a kid, there was no TV, bike riding on Sundays. Basically, you weren't to have fun on Sunday. Just think on the Lord. Don't go anymore. Yeah. But if you think about it too, in the family I was raised in when I was a little kid, those were the days there was no such thing as Sunday shopping. Everything closed down.
Yeah.
I wasn't a farmer. My parents weren't farmers, but they did come from farming stock. And, Sunday afternoons was when everybody had a little lie down, a little nap. Of course, we all know they were having sex, but at the time, but they called the little lie down. And people might visit other people on a Sunday, but you weren't supposed to be doing anything. It was a day of rest and all that kind of thing. Oh my God, today we would never survive with that. What do you mean I can't shop I can't buy online on Sunday? No! Say it isn't so!
Can't watch TV on
Oh,
Sunday.
God, no. Marilyn says, I have studied all religions and still have no clue which one that I fit into. Maybe I'm agnostic as well. I was into paganism, Buddhism, except even for a while, but got tired of that. Yeah, well, you know what I believe? If you want, and this is what I call spirituality, you take the best from several. If it works for you, then fine.
I kind of don't like. I grew up in a family that didn't go to church, so I mean, I just don't. I never really saw the point of following the rules, like going to church on Sunday or.
Well, that's
something
because
like
you
that.
couldn't get out of bed in time.
No, I know. Well, my mother never let me get.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But you know, I never really had any desire to change that. I guess.
No.
You know, so
when I left the church, I felt really, really guilty about it for quite some time. In fact, to the point where I thought, well, I could join a different one. Because the reason I left the church I was in is because of what they were saying about gay people trying to pretend that they were very open and accommodating, and they weren't. They were the exact opposite. It was hypocritical. And it just made me, or solidified in my mind, how hypocritical my particular church really was. I always knew it was, but this just brought it close to home, you know, for me. So I left. But then I felt really, you know, Sunday mornings come and I was going to church. And now I'm not. And I should be doing something about that. But I'm over that now. Yeah, so, you know. Teresa says, good grief, man, people I knew would gas up the car on Saturday night because they wouldn't buy gas on Sunday because it was making someone else work on Sunday and that was forbidden. Yeah, and actually there was a day and age, I remember as a really little kid, gas stations were not open on Sunday. You had to get your gas on Saturday if you were doing anything on Sunday. They weren't open. Nothing was open on Sundays. Nothing. That's all changed, hasn't it? And then, you know, when they first here in Canada, when they first started doing Sunday shopping, they would not open the stores up until 11 o'clock in the morning. That was to appease the church-going people who thought this was not a good thing, you know, to open. Well, that's all changed, right? Hasn't been that way for years. Teresa says, we won't even start on how that church still treats women in any one of the LGBTQ. Yeah. Hi, Carol. I don't care what anyone's religion as long as they don't think they are the only way. Yeah, exactly, Carol. That's what I've been saying. U.S. had what we call blue laws, no shopping on Sundays. Yeah, well,
the U.S. has had Sunday shopping a lot longer than Canada has had.
Yeah.
We're kind of behind the times on that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had it now for probably 30 years or longer, I guess. No alcohol either on Sundays. Yeah, that was something my family didn't obey. Sundays, there's nothing else to do. Let's drink. And, you know, get rid of the boredom with that. But, yeah. But I don't know. It seems like since COVID started that this has been a breeding ground for the fanatics and the extremists and the far right to raise its ugly head more so than it has ever done before. And I don't know why that is. Because we're getting it all. I mean, this is something. Here's an idea. Talking about when will this pandemic be over? Well, I know in certain parts of the world, people are saying the hell with it. It's over as far as they're concerned. But something else more so that's come out of that. It's not just a disease. It's not just a virus. It has been a turn in the way people behave and think and act. When COVID, the pandemic first got started, people were all out there doing things for other people. Remember that? Remember all the goodwill people had? They were helping out their neighbors with this. They were doing things for them and all this kind of stuff, making sourdough bread starter for everybody. People were going on Zoom to talk to other people so people wouldn't feel so shut in and alone and all this kind of stuff. That has stopped for the most part. You don't hear much about that anymore. Maybe it's still going on in certain sectors. Maybe it's old news, so we don't hear about it. Whatever. But people are kind of over all of that. They're throwing out their sour bread dough starter. Yeah, they are. They're just not, because nobody wants it. Oh God, not that stuff. It's growing in my kitchen. I've got it in every room of the house. It's taken over. But, what are people saying here? Cheryl says, hi, Cheryl. Hi, everyone. Had trouble getting the live chat to work today. Oh, that's too bad. Well, you're here now.
Making everyone those damn masks, yeah.
Yeah, making everyone those. Yeah, everybody was in making the masks. Remember that? And people were proud of the fact, I've made 200 masks in the last month. I've made 1,000. I'm making masks for babies. They should have made them tighter. Then you have to listen to them. I've made this. I've done this and that. Now you don't hear it. Now it's like, I'm not making another one of those goddamn masks. I'm so tired of making masks. So there you go. I don't know. It's just been a very strange world. And on many levels, hasn't it been, for the last couple of years? And we're not out of it yet. So maybe that's what Putin's doing. He's tired of being shut in for COVID, decided he's going to get out and wreak havoc. Just for shits and giggles. I don't know. He's an idiot. Unfortunately, he's a dangerous idiot. But anyways, that's politics. So we've done the three. Politics, religion, and the weather. All the things you're not supposed to talk about, in mixed company. But
I don't think the weather is a bad topic. It's politics and religion that aren't good.
Yeah. But there was something about the weather this year. Had to do with global warming and all that stuff. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be a plague of locusts coming down. Well, we've had everything else. I'm telling you, I see 3 guys outside of our front, or 4 guys outside of our house on horses. I'm running. And some of you who have some religious backgrounds will know exactly what I meant by that reference. 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Bingo, bingo. Even movies. Now, here you go. Even movies. Through the last 2 years, there's been a whole lot of them about viruses killing people and stuff. Well, that's appropriate topic during a time of a pandemic. Go figure. Yeah. What's this? Carol says, news said Putin was going to have cancer surgery. Well,
we'll chop off his head.
I don't know. He is a cancer. He is a cancer. So there you go. This picture's going to be next to it in the dictionary. With that voice, Fidel says, could be an awesome drag queen. What are you suggesting, Fidel? I don't do drag much. Cheryl says, I use paper masks now after making hundreds of fabric masks, but I still use my favorite mask made with Three Stooges fabric. Yeah, some levity to it all, right? But anyways, that's the way the world is right now. Can it get any worse? Let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not. It's been a bad 2 years. It really has. And these are going to be emotional scars on us all for the rest of our lives, I'm sure. Carol says, we wish, Walter. Oh, yeah, okay. I get it, for sure, yeah. But anyways, let's hope for better times soon. And that's, speaking of time, that's the end of our time. Oh, by the way, if you've noticed in the background up there, my disco lights, I had to fancy up my 3D printer, so I bought a string of those LED lights and hung them up there, and they change colors and everything. They'll even go to the music. If you play music, they'll vibrate to the music as well. Toys for big boys. Yep, all about that. Well, just thought you might be wondering, or maybe not. Okay, so you have about 30 seconds to add a like if you haven't done it right now. I'll wait.
We're dropping viewers, so.
Yeah, well, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, everybody, I hope you have a good week. Remember, Craft and Chat this coming Wednesday, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my time. And pop-up Craft and Sew Day this coming Saturday, May the 7th, starting at 8 a.m. in the morning, but you can come whenever you want. If you're not out of bed, or if you're out in the West Coast, that's about 5 o'clock in the morning for you. And if you're across the pond, well, it's late in the afternoon for you. And if you're in Australia, it's the next day. So, yeah. So we'll see who we see, and I hope to see some of you and whatnot. And we'll have fun, because it's all about fun. So have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.